welcome back to the On The Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. Why we do this on a Friday night? Because Friday night is horror night. Now, as you can see from that massive ass poster of Lauren Rivera's face there, this is a very, very special guest. This is the writer and director of the latest and upcoming indie horror and one of the most hyped movies that I've seen for a long, long time. This is Mr. Joe Lamb, and the movie is The Fetus. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Greg. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks for coming on. Obviously, we connected a while back there. I've been following the process of this movie for a while. And I mean to say, I didn't make it up as I'm going. The hype for this movie around the socials has been unbelievable. I've been high on it for a while. Um, so congratulations on it, and I'm glad it's finally coming out now. So, how does it feel for yourself to come on or to have it ready to come out now after such a long time?
Oh man, it's been a 4-year journey. Because when I started writing it, it was 1 year writing the screenplay and 45 drafts, and then like 2 to 2.5 years of production and post-production along the way. So yeah, it's been a long time gestating the fetus. No pun intended. So.
All puns intended. All puns intended, Joe. Um, but just before we get into that, obviously, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the business?
Yeah, I mean, I went to film school and, just cut my teeth on a bunch of short films. Done about a dozen short films, and besides that, I've done documentaries, promos, music videos, and it's always been my love for film that it was the ultimate goal. So doing all the other stuff, the video projects, was just leading up to this to make feature films. And and it took me a long time. It's been over 20 years of just grinding away to make sure that I could tell a good story um, that honored the audience. I didn't want to make a film just to make a film and like feel good about myself. That wasn't the point. It's everything has been for the audience. That has been my focus.
I mean, that's a great way of saying that you didn't just want to make a film and fire it out there just to go, I've made a film or I've made 10 films. And there are plenty of those films that come out, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it either, of firing out film after film after film. But to put the work in, and as you said, it's been 4 years. So that brings us back to what, 2020, give or take, when this all project started for you.
Yeah, 2021, I believe. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Now you said something to me just before we came on. Obviously this was made before Terrifier 2. Um, so obviously Lauren wouldn't have been as big a name at the time. But you certainly picked off a massive name in the world of horror in Bill Moseley. I know people call him Chop Top, but I said to you off screen, it's Otis Driftwood to me. So like for yourself to have like now, obviously when the movie's coming out, Lauren has exploded because of the success of Terrifier. To have names like that involved with the project must feel so good for you.
Yeah, I think because I mean it certainly helps our film, right? To have both Bill and Lauren. And it was something that was unexpected that we cast her before Terrifier 2 hit. It actually hit after we wrapped production in August 2022. And then suddenly all that happened. But yeah, they're both amazing to work with, you know,
Yeah.
just very dialed into the characters and just knowing what the characters needed that I didn't have to give much guidance or direction, which I don't really like to do on set anyways. I like when actors just say like, this is what I'm hearing from the character right now, and
Let it rip
they
and
run
see.
with it. I'm like, absolutely, you do what you want. I'm just setting the environment for you to play in. Um,
I'll give you the parameters and you go nuts.
exactly, exactly. Because otherwise, if I'm telling the actor like, do this, say it like this, and then it's like I'm treating them like a puppet,
Yeah.
just like something like this where, my hand is shoved inside them, which is like who wants to work that way as an actor? I don't think anybody really wants to.
Absolutely. And I mean, like acting isn't easy anyway. I'm not an actor, so I wouldn't have a clue, but I don't imagine it's easy. And especially if someone's stuck to your shoulder, you didn't say this right, you didn't do that right. And obviously there are big Hollywood directors that are like that, and there's obviously other directors that are like that, and they want it done in a certain way. But I find when you hear of directors giving them more freedom to do stuff, you can feel it or you can see it flow much better on screen.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so like, for me, obviously, I know everyone says that James Cameron is one. He's a perfectionist in everything he does, from the way the lines are delivered. But some of his movies, I find you can feel that it's there, and it's probably been ran about a million times before they get it. Um, with certain other ones, obviously, you get a bit more freedom, and you can feel it just flows, and it has a better run to it. This for me, obviously, I said I was quite hyped now on social media. I didn't know fully what to expect. I vaguely watched the trailer, um, because I didn't want anything to be ruined for me. I had a rough idea. Obviously, we'd spoke a couple of times. You'd sent me the box of condoms, the promo pack. Um, and like I was like, okay, so you can kind of guess what the movie is, especially by the name as well. But this movie just flowed through. Like it's an hour and 26 minutes, is it? An
Yeah, yeah, hour and 22.
hour 22. Didn't feel like it. Felt like about half an hour, 40 minutes. It was a very easy watch, great pacing, very very well shot. Great script, great dialogue in it. The character arcs were good. Great effects. So fair play to you on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm not with the movie not out fully yet. Obviously I've had a screener to see it. I'm not going to give spoilers away, so that you don't you don't have to worry about that. Um, but like the whole movie from start to finish, very enjoyable. Um, and it's definitely has some great rewatchability as well to it. And I love the fact that it just gets straight into it. It's game on from 5 minutes in. You're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm not the slow burn type of filmmaker.
Yeah,
I'm not into that.
yeah. Like there's nothing wrong with them movies either. Sometimes though, with them, you're sitting there and you're going, really, will this just ever get going? And then like when it does pay off, you're like, oh, that was well worth the wait. But
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes,
I can enjoy those movies. But just the way that I am and I operate and how I process and I deliver things, that I need the roller coaster ride. Like
yeah,
I just want to keep hitting you with things happening or emotions or drama. So that's where I come from. Yeah.
I will say now, as I said, the pacing in this movie is very good. It's an hour 22, you said, and it doesn't feel like it at all. Um, I really enjoyed it. Like I have a list that I keep for 2025 movies. Um, from Hollywood to indie, whatever I get, for movies that are being released this year. And I keep a list of an order of where I think they'd be for the year. Right, so I have the Fetus in at 3 at the minute out of 2025 movies.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're ahead of the Wolfman, which I have in 4. I thought the Wolfman was fantastic. Um, you're behind Nosferatu. Nosferatu's been it's the best movie of the year for me.
Mhm.
And for some reason or another, I really, really, really enjoyed You're Cordially Invited, the new Will Ferrell movie. Um,
Will Ferrell movie. What is that?
it's a new comedy movie on Prime.
Oh,
Him
okay.
and um, oh, the fuck's your one's name from Walk the Line? Um, with
Joaquin Phoenix. Walk the
no,
line.
the girl. Oh,
Oh, Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon. Yeah, their new movie. I have that at 2 at the minute, and then I have the Fetus in at 3.
Wow. So
Yeah,
this is just movies and all genres. It's not. I thought
yeah,
it was
yeah. No, no,
horror
not
genre.
just no, no,
Oh,
no. All movies.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, it's
that's.
early. It's only March right now. So.
But I've still seen 26 movies.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, you've seen all 26 already on that list. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I've been fairly working my way through the lists.
Well, that's
Um,
quite a compliment, Greg. So thank
yeah,
you. Wow.
I really appreciate it. Now, as I said to you off screen, I haven't put the review up on Letterboxd yet, but I will get to that. I wanted to go through it with you first as to
Hmm.
what I thought about it, and let you know. So then, obviously, if I don't know, well, obviously, I take it you read the Letterboxd reviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I didn't want to put it up, and then you'd be like, "Oh, you coming in going, oh, okay, so I know what's going to be said here." Um, but yeah, as I said, the pacing, how well it was shot, how the lighting worked in it. Because no offense to indie movies, some of them you can have like strange lighting or strange sound in it. This didn't look like an indie movie
Hmm.
in any way. Um, didn't feel like it. I was blown away by how well it was shot. Um, as I said, didn't watch the trailers, didn't know what much to expect to it. And I normally go into a movie now where I'm just like, okay, I have a feeling it's going to be crap. Because at least that way, then if it's somewhatly good, I'm not let down. And if it's really bad, I know it must be really, really bad. I've become quite the pessimist in my old age.
Well, it's interesting what you say about not watching the trailer because our teaser had over 100,000 views on a variety of platforms, and our official trailer, which we launched in January, only has maybe like 20,000. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
You're the first person who said that, oh, I did not watch the trailer. I avoided it.
I put it on, but I didn't watch it just to get the views to go up to give views a hand.
Mm.
Um, but I didn't because I found when I've watched a few indie movies and I've watched the trailers, I kind of pick off what's going to happen quite early, and it shows maybe a bit more than it should. Hollywood definitely does, so I tend to avoid trailers to the best I can, but sometimes I can't help it. I'm just impulsive.
Well, having seen the movie and then knowing what's in the trailer, do you feel that we held off a lot?
Yes,
Okay.
you didn't give too much away in the trailer after watching the movie, and then I went and watched it.
Hmm.
Um, I would have been quite happy having seen the trailer to then go in and watch the movie that it's not giving loads away.
Mm.
Um, now I did follow the Instagram page where I was watching the behind the scenes shots and stuff, and like there was the scene with when you were teaching Lauren to fall.
Hmm.
I was like the behind. I love the behind the scenes stuff, and that's one of the best things about following a lot of indie films and directors and stuff. They put up the behind the scenes, and I'm like, yeah, these are awesome. But like the effects in this were brilliant. The behind the scenes I really enjoyed. The trailer after watching it was quite good or after I seen the movie. The movie,
Hmm.
I think the movie was so simple of a story. It wasn't too convoluted, and it allowed it to flow a lot better. And I love that you got straight into it. Didn't care, straight in, game on. And then the dynamic between Lauren and Bill was good. The friction between Bill and oh sorry, excuse me, and is it Julian?
Ian Curtis.
Yeah, was brilliant, and it like Bill is that damn good that it looked like he probably could have just punched him in the face. Yeah, he just has that look, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Um, Obviously small enough cast, which makes it probably harder because they're obviously on screen a lot more,
Mhm.
and if things aren't going right on the day or throughout the shoot, it obviously becomes harder. But yeah, I thought the dynamic between the three was brilliant.
Right, right.
So credit to you. But what was it like for you on set filming and obviously having to do everything with
I
it
mean,
being your baby? Like,
it's a blast because to me, the greatest experience that I could ever have is being on a set directing. There's nothing comes close to that. It is the pinnacle of experiencing life on this earth for me. And
you don't have kids then, do you?
I don't have kids. No, I don't. Not yet. So
Well, I seen a kid in this one.
it could, things could change. I have kids one day, then it could flip. But currently, that's where it stands. So, you know, um, I want to get back there because this is like pure creation. But yeah, it was absolute joy to work on. It was exhausting because I am also one of the producers, and then I also had to deal with being visual effects supervisor and editor, right? So yes, we have over 100 people working on this, but I've had to wear multiple hats because it is a low budget production too. So to keep all of that, uh, in my head and making sure everything works together, it's taxing on the brain. So
I'd say you slept well when it was finished, did you?
yeah.
Just got
I
into bed, just get into bed
was-
and sleep for like 4 days.
yeah, I was doped up on coffee and Celsius drinks and iced teas and all that. That's what kept me going. It was just, yeah. So some
Ab-
nights,
ab- Absolutely
sleep.
tweaked out of it on coffee.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
So
Oh,
what was the shoot time like for you? Was it all done in one go? Was it broken up?
oh, yeah. So 2022 is when we filmed 3 weeks in Pennsylvania. So it was 17 days.
Nice.
And then from there, we knew we had to do a green screen shoot later on, but I held off on just going right into it because I decided to edit the entire movie, whatever we had up until that point, so I could see what was all the missing gaps, what we needed in this green screen shoot. And a lot of people who've seen the film, they don't realize that we shot green screen as well. It's because there's some impossible things in this story that we couldn't do on location unless we had a multi-million dollar budget, then yeah, you can. But in this case, it was a year later, 2023, we went back to do the green screen shoots, and this was in a LA green screen studio, and
Nice.
so got everything we needed. It was a tough shoot because we were so many shots to get through. We would do like, I don't know, close to 40 shots a day, which is kind of insane sometimes. And my numbers can be wrong, but I remember it was a lot. But it was a lot of little snippets here and there, right? Um, but I'm so dialed in with our cinematographer that I've worked with him in the past that we were able to achieve that kind of shoot. And then we put it all together. We had 4 test screenings, and then the audience was saying, "Joe, we're so locked in going into the climax, and then it just ends." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I avoided doing this other ending that was just bonkers." Because we had so much stuff going on for the rest of the movie. But after listening to feedback, I said, okay, I have to go back, raise more money, and we'll go back to Pennsylvania. So that was last year. We went back and filmed another 3 days to add on this additional ending that is made the movie more complete and fulfilling.
Well, so the ending that's in the movie that I seen is the new ending.
Yes, it was filmed 2 years apart.
Right. So when we finish this call, I want to find out what the other ending was. No, we
Yeah,
won't say it
I'll
on
tell
here.
you. Yes,
Yeah,
I
we
can
won't
tell
say
you.
it.
I won't tell you on here, but I'll tell you after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the
I,
cutoff is. Yeah.
I was gonna say, wait, don't say it now because
Yeah, yeah.
um. Okay, so you're talking a year and a half to 2 years of a shoot, really.
Yeah, the span of 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a long time. Obviously, trying to lock people down to come back and screen. Obviously, uh, Bill is conventioned up to beat the band. Same as Lauren, I'd say. And obviously in between doing Terrifier 2 and 3. I'm not so sure about Julian. I don't know much about him. But from his performance in this, I'd imagine he's a busy fella too.
Oh, we had to fly him back from Australia.
Oh,
He-
jeez.
because his visa was up, and so he was in Australia, so we had to also get his visa, and he only had two windows of opportunity to film last year. We
Lovely.
had missed the first one, so then we had to go do the second one. And oh my God, we had to expedite his visa, and literally the day before he flew out, his passport arrived.
Oh, for fuck's sake. When it's written for you, it's written for you. Huh?
It's just, oh my God, it was like, what do we do if he doesn't show up? Or like the visa paperwork for his passport, whatever that was, right? And it cost a lot of money, the lawyers and expediting all this stuff. And yeah, literally it came a day before. If we didn't have him, it would have been a different ending. We would have still proceeded, but it would have been just completely different. Yeah.
When it's written in the stars for you, it's written for you.
Yeah.
Or when it's summoned by the devil, one or the other.
Yeah.
Joe's sold his soul.
Yeah, it's a miracle to get a movie made. It was just wow. Yeah. So
Well, I mean, like everything seemed to run. Like as I said, I loved watching following the page, seeing the behind the scenes photos, seeing some of the artwork, seeing some of the choreographed stunt work. Um, so everything looked like it was a perfect shoot for you, really. Bar maybe the undue stress of trying to get someone back from Australia.
oh, and by the way, if you like behind the scenes stuff, uh, we have a book that I'm writing with the making of.
I
We
mean,
actually we have a photo book that is like a visual journey from all departments, and then we have a documentary that we're producing as well. We've already got 12 cast and crew members on camera interviewed, and we're going to start editing it pretty soon.
I will check that out when it comes out. So I'll definitely check that out. As I said, I love watching some of the behind the scenes things. And especially when it's people that I've actually spoken to in person. Like it's great watching some of the Hollywood behind the scenes, and you see all these big actors and stuff. But like obviously, I spoke to you for probably the best part of a year now. So watching the movie develop through behind the scenes photos and stuff. Like there's a scene in it, one of the more recent posts that you put up, which is the scene when it's outside the college and the car pulls up. Um, when Lauren's like passed out beside the tree. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, yeah.
That you know the picture I'm talking about from behind the scenes. I was like, what is going on here? And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Um, Now I will say, offhand, it's dubbed as a horror comedy. I don't see too much of the comedy era about it, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, oh, you don't? Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, like
Interesting.
when I see horror comedy, I automatically go to the likes of Shaun of the Dead, Tucker and Dale v Evil, things like that. But it's definitely more lighthearted than I was expecting when I seen obviously horror comedy. I was thinking, okay, so it's going to be funny in parts, but it's definitely more lighthearted than I anticipated then.
Hmm.
Um, but it was very enjoyable.
So there, like some of the humor, like it's not landing with you, huh?
Yeah, it just kind of went by me. I was like, all right,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had a
no,
couple friends who've seen it, and they're like, yeah, it's not a horror to me.
uh,
But then
okay.
some people, they're laughing throughout the whole movie, except the ending usually, because usually the ending people just they stop laughing, they're like dialed in as like the climax is happening.
No, I will say I'm notorious. I only watch a movie once a year, but I want to give this a second rewatch to see if maybe some of it hits differently. And I might watch it during the day rather than I watched it at nighttime here, and like I turned all the lights off and put my phone away. Um, so I might watch it again one of the days just to see if it lands differently or there's parts that I missed to it. But as I said, like it just kind of went by for me. It was great.
Mm.
And like I was glued to it. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah.
That's exactly what I call that the magic trick,
Yeah.
where you get the audience just like once they're watching it, they're just frozen and locked in, and it's just a roller coaster ride for them. That's
So
exactly what I'm going for. Yeah.
as I said, it was awesome. No, you need to send me that brown envelope now. I gave it all the good bits. You got to pay the money now. No, I joke. The As I said, oh, I really enjoyed it. I thought the pacing was fantastic to it. Um, the acting from the three leads were was just, you couldn't really ask for much better. Um, I think even so much the sort of secondary cast, obviously the family that live next door, um, even to the girl in the bathroom in the shop at the start,
Mm.
like everyone kind of just sold it perfectly.
Yeah, where she screams her head off, right? That
Apart
one.
apart from you, Joe, you were in that movie. You
Yeah.
wrecked it, Joe. You wrecked
Oh, that was not planned.
it.
He
I'm
had
only
an
joking.
actor, he had a family emergency, and then he couldn't make it. Then I'm looking at the crew. I'm like, okay, someone's got to step up. Nobody wanted to, and I was like, are you kidding me? I don't want to be in my own movie. Oh God, yeah, yeah,
Because
you caught.
I was actually going to send a picture to you and be like, Joe, really? Just had
You,
to get in there.
you could have, yeah, you could have just jabbed me with that. Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
know.
rough. It's
Like
rough. I did not
it,
want to do that. That's,
it
yeah.
was it was fine. It didn't take. I think it was. Yeah, you done well. You done well. Uh, Um, yeah, no,
Oh,
I do like seeing some of them. Like obviously, M Night Shyamalan is big for being in his own movies for split seconds, um, and things like that. So I actually don't mind that. I think it's good, especially like a lot of people. Obviously, you're behind the camera. They might not know what you look like, so you're just another guy that's in the movie.
yeah.
Uh,
Hopefully.
yeah.
I just
Now,
don't want people to be taken out of it when they see me.
yeah. But like, I mean, some people like people love like I always go back to Signs when I'm talking about things like that. That scene
Mm.
in Signs when you see M Night, obviously when they're sitting in the cafe, and then he's in it later on again. You're like, Jesus, he really gave himself a part in this one. Uh, but like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
I think if it works, if the director can pull it off, then yeah, it's fine.
Only talented directors can do it.
Oh.
No compliment needed.
And I had lines in it. Oh my God.
How many times did you have to do it?
I was like three takes each or something like that. It was,
The
yeah.
nerves got to you.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
The nerves got to you. The So let me ask you a couple of questions. Then, what was your favorite bit on set to do to film? Like,
It's a, it's a,
it's a tough question.
it is a very tough question. I have a couple of them. I'll mention the main one, which is Lauren Lavera, her back against the wall, screaming her head off in a way that I'm like, she is pulling this off right now. Because Greg, I'm telling you, telling a crazy zany story like this, but to have the actors just give it their all to make it feel like they believe what they are doing is real, is really happening. For her to pull that off, I was like, oh, we got something. And this is 2.5 weeks into it. Okay. This is where I'm just unsure if this movie is gonna work. But when that moment happened, because this is part of the climax, and I was like, oh, I felt it. I felt like whatever shivers or whatever it is that you call like the cells vibrating in the body that just like took the needle over and said, yes, we've got something. Before
It,
this, unsure, unsure, but now it's like, boom, we got something.
it's going to be a winner. I think I know the scene you're talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, do you know one of my favorite bits actually comes right at the start? Not so much at the start of it, but maybe 15 minutes in after she comes back to the apartment. Um, and when she's in the bathroom after having an argument, that whole scene there where she's in the
Oh yeah.
bathroom, I think she sold that to perfection.
Oh, the thing, the
Yeah.
thing you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, not so much that part, but the minute sort of after that
Hmm.
where she kind of passes out.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that whole bathroom scene was just phenomenal.
Mm,
And like
okay.
like even Julian genuinely looked concerned when he walked in. And I know it's acting,
Yeah,
but like the two of them sold it perfectly.
yeah, yeah.
Perfectly.
Well, that's great to know.
And it's little small things because sometimes you can see, like you can see it in certain movies when someone pretends to faint and you can see them still kind of moving around or breathing or
Yeah,
whatever. And you're like,
yeah,
oh, okay. Little small things that you notice that are quite insignificant, but sometimes they annoy me. But
yeah.
the two of them sold that to perfection.
Mm.
Uh, Obviously, the few death scenes that are in it as well were pretty awesome.
Yeah, and when you mention the little nuances that sometimes will give things away, like audiences like would never know some of the little VFX touches that were done to hide things. Because and I'll be honest about it, because we did have a whole bunch of VFX shots in this besides the practicals. Everything you see on screen is a practical, but we did touch up VFX here and there. But there are VFX that are like invisible, that are like a normal dramatic talking scene, that things were done to it to make sure it would be a seamless viewing.
Interesting.
Because, like, yeah, for example, when you have an actor who's supposed to play dead, it's sometimes they are breathing a little bit, and I will watch and watch and watch like dozens of times. And if I see the little breathing and the cloth move, and I'm like, then I would have to do VFX for it.
You're a perfectionist.
It's yeah, so that's I mean, it's just it would drive me nuts because every time when I'm editing it and I watch it, I'm like, I see it every time, and I'm like, I gotta fix that. And it's literally frame by frame Photoshop painting to do this. Besides, I mean, we have a, a team around the world for our VFX, but sometimes I would do it because again, low budget, So luckily, I knew Photoshop to be able to pull off some of these little things. So
Absolutely. And as I said here, there are things like that that annoy me when you see it in films. And I'm like, okay, it's small, insignificant parts that do just that bother me. And
hmm
like I've said on the show, I don't know whether you've seen some of the back catalog. Like I'll say, there's parts in movies that happen that throw me out of a movie, and
hmm
sometimes small things like that can throw me out for no reason where it shouldn't really affect me, throw me out of the movie, and I'm lost. Then I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah, or it's just little simple examples. You got a scene where a shot where the can is here, right? And then cuts to another character, and it cuts back, and it's suddenly like, oh, it's in the middle now.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I know, like that could easily be done because the camera, right? Like obviously the angle of the camera or something, or the person has moved and you haven't seen it, right? But
Right, right.
things like that would bother me.
Yeah.
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 Or there's one scene in Fight Club where they have a Starbucks coffee cup on the table, right?
hmm
And it cuts between Brad Pitt talking and Ed Norton talking. I think it is. I haven't seen it in a while. And it turns back to him, and the coffee cup is the other way around. It's in the same
hmm
position, but it's the other way around. And I'm like, what? Why?
And it was probably too fast for, for you to fill in that the character picked it up, drank, and put it back down,
Eh.
right?
And I'm just
So,
like, there's obviously an explanation to it. But I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Just don't
Yeah.
touch it. Glue the fucking props down. I don't care.
Yeah. Things like that. Yeah. They drive me up the wall and they will take me out of the movie. Yeah. I agree
Yeah,
with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like to an extent, there's worse things to take me out of movies than just that. But
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
as I said, there's certain parts and like this, I wouldn't have noticed too much in this one now. As I said, I'd have to watch it again a couple of times, and then I'll send you a snag list. You need to fix this.
Oh, we'll see. That's a good challenge, if I miss something that you caught.
Yeah. No, but as I said, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was definitely worth the year or so wait that I had for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know as of now, you're selling tickets to the theoretical release.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I can't get tickets because I don't think you're going to fly me out from Ireland to the States to watch it for some reason. I mean, flights from Ireland to the US probably not as expensive as Australia, but um, I don't think my missus would like me too much for me going. Yeah, I'm going to the cinema in the States.
Well, just wait till we get a distributor in Ireland, and it'll play out there. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll definitely get it when it drops over here. Um, but as I said, like the success that this movie's going to have is going to be well earned because in terms of indie movies, this is one of the best ones I've seen. And that's not me blowing smoke. That's like I'm quite blunt when it comes to movies on this show. So if I tell you it's good, I genuinely think it was good.
I appreciate honesty because to me, I mean, me cutting my teeth on 12 short films, people telling me the truth, right? If they didn't tell me the truth, how can I improve?
Yeah,
If I don't know what my flaws are, I'm going to keep making those same mistakes.
absolutely. But where I quite enjoyed the movie. As I said, I have it at number 3 on my list so far this year. I know we're only at the time of recording, start of March. Um, but like it's definitely going to finish in the top half, I'd say, of movies for me this year.
Like, ahead of it, you said is Nosferatu, and then
You're cordially invited,
you're cordially invited. Okay.
which is a comedy, but not Nosferatu. I think for me right now is going to take a lot of beating.
Mm.
Um, and like people watching this obviously from the States will say, "Oh, it was a 2024 movie." We do it by the date that it's released in Ireland, and it wasn't released in Ireland until the 1st of January. So it was a
Well,
2025.
I mean, Greg, the fact that you are putting the fetus at number 3 with two other films that are in the multi-million dollar range. Nosferatu is, I don't know how much, what was her budget?
Yeah,
20 million? I mean, that's
let's see. Nosferatu budget 50.
50. Wow.
Yeah. Um. So I have it. Like I've watched a lot of new horror so far this year. So if Nosferatu, you're cordially invited. I've The Fetus. Then I have The Wolfman at 4. I know that got a lot of stick, but I really enjoyed it. I've got Get Out, Get Away, Back in Action, and then another really good indie movie by Tyler Horner and Wes Robinson and Blair Hoyle with The House Amongst the Trees. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it or if you've heard of it, but when you
No,
do,
no, I never even heard of it.
when you do, it's definitely well worth a watch. Um, but yeah, I have it ahead of quite a lot of things. Like I have Flight Risk with Mark Wahlberg in there. Um, yeah, like for like I'm not one just because it's a Hollywood movie doesn't mean it has to go ahead of other stuff. Like last year I watched 101 new movies, and the first indie movie on my list came at number 12, and that was in the top 10 right up until the last couple of days of the year.
Mm-mm.
So I'm not one for it's got bigger budget, so it has to be there. If the movie stays there, it stays there on my valuing of it. So
Wow.
like as I said, 26 movies. You're at 3 at the minute, so it's good going.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Mm. It's good going. Like as I said, I really enjoyed it. I'll be intrigued now to see when I sit down to rewatch it. how I feel.
Yeah, let me know. Send me a message. You know.
You'll just get a message going, it was crap.
Yeah.
No rewatchability. I say that joking, folks. I haven't actually rewatched it yet, so um, but on first judging, yeah, I definitely say there's definitely a rewatchability to it.
Yeah, I know people who watched it like over a dozen times. It's just like I'm like, what? What are you doing? It's just-
Apparently watching it on repeat. I can think of one good reason why. I'm not gonna say it, but I can think of one good reason why.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's and that's only for the chop top himself. um, but obviously, Joe, do you want to have a little pitch of your obviously you're selling the movie tickets for theater release. So do you want to tell people a little bit about that one?
Sure, the movie comes out March 7th, select theaters. It's only in a few cities right now. And if you're in that city and you go to the fetusmovie.com, you can buy tickets. If you're not in that city or cities, then you can still buy a ticket and you will get a digital screener 1 month after it leaves the theaters. And so you still have the chance to watch it. And not only that, we have three bonus gifts when you buy a ticket. The first one is a 25,000 grand prize giveaway where we fly you and a friend to the actual cabin where we filmed the fetus. You get a $2,000 uh, Visa credit card to spend on whatever you like there, meals, travel, whatever. And then you get like the creature prosthetics from the fetus that was designed by our two-time award-winning special effects makeup artist. You get like a arm prosthetic that's severed arm that we use in the movie. You get
That thing
Lauren
was
Lavera's,
awesome, by the way.
yeah, and you also get Lauren Lavera's wardrobe that she actually wore throughout the movie. It is a one-of-a-kind item, and you get like all of our merch that we have, and signed posters and signed condom boxes and all that. The second prize is digital products bundle. I'm writing a book that's the making of the movie. Got a photo book that's like visual journey of the movie, and then also our documentary. It's going to be a 60-minute documentary of making the fetus. And then the third thing is you will get a postcard with Lauren Lavera's a still image of her from the movie mailed to you. So it's a nice little keepsake that you'll get to have as well. So I'm all about adding value. So I'm just trying to give as much stuff as possible to anyone who watches the movie.
Nice, nice. And Joe was very kind and actually sent out. He sent to me obviously the far side of the world. I got just for even following the page and being in contact and sharing a few bits out. I got a nice little box of condoms too.
Yeah, and I think I sent a bunch of like posters and t-shirts.
I didn't
So
get them though.
you gave me your t-shirt size, right?
No,
Oh, okay. Tell me your offline. Give me your t-shirt size and your address again. And I shipped a bunch on like Thursday and Friday. So
oh, I love some merch.
okay, so all right.
My missus thought those condoms were hilarious. She had no idea what they were, no idea what they were thing. And I was like, oh, it's from a movie coming out. And she was like, what you mean? I was like, there's a movie coming out, and this is the promo work he's doing for it. And I was like, genius.
Why did she thought you just bought it suddenly and like
No, because I said to her, I says, oh look at what I got sent,
okay.
and she's like,
Because honestly,
what?
when we would go to like horror conventions, we have like these pregnant models giving
I've
away
seen that, yeah.
condoms. There were some married men. They're like, I can't accept that.
All right,
Oh,
cool.
okay, I understand. Yeah, yeah, just don't.
Yeah, imagine landing home with that, and she finding it in the car or something.
I
Although
know.
when you see it like within saying that, it's not just a box of condoms. It's not like a box of Durex. It's actually got the fetus wrote on the box. Um,
Yeah.
so like you could explain that, but I could see where people would be edgy about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was hilarious though. I thought it was great marketing ploy. Yeah. But what you should have put on it was, please use these to avoid this situation.
Yeah.
Um, But I mean to say, I seen some of the stills. I know you were ill and couldn't make it to um MegaCon.
No, I was at MegaCon. Yeah, we
Was
had
it
a screening.
MegaCon? Oh, was it
Yeah.
no Atlanta? Days of the Dead you missed, was it?
Yeah, I think
That
I
was
had
it.
COVID, so I was knocked out. I was knocked out for like 10 days, like bedridden.
Nice.
But we have Mad Monster Party coming up this weekend. It's March 7th, 8th, 9th in Atlanta again. So I'll be out there. Yeah,
Nice,
got
nice.
a booth.
Yep. I seen some of the things you had like a pram full of the condoms and stuff.
There's a
Um,
baby stroller
yeah,
full of condoms. Yeah.
genius marketing ploy, lads. I don't know if it was you that came up with it or your team or whoever.
Yeah. Yeah, I came up with it. Yeah.
Fuck it, genius though, genius.
Yeah, people love it. We get comments saying, "Oh, it's the best marketing for movie I've ever seen." Like, well, okay, great. Yeah.
As I said to you, I thought it was brilliant because I know you messaged me and said I want to send you something, and I was like, okay, grand. See what it is. That arrived, and I was like, deadly.
Oh, I didn't tell you what it was.
I can't remember if you told me what it was or not, but I know I didn't tell her. And then I showed it to her, and she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "You'll see when the movie comes out." And like, I still have them. They're sitting on my bedside table.
You ever gonna
Um,
use them?
no,
No.
I see what happens in the movie. I'll take my chances. I don't know what kind of curse you put on these. um, but no, yeah, as I said, the movie itself was top drawer. Now, I'm going to ask you a really tough question, right? So, unbiasedly, right? If say I was the director of this movie, made it the exact same way, what would you rate this out of 5?
If you're saying if I didn't make the movie, you
Yeah.
made the
So,
movie?
so say me and you just switched places. The movie's made the
Yeah.
exact same way.
Oh God.
So from an unbiased opinion,
Yeah, to me it's a 4 out of 5. It's a 4 because I can watch it over and over again.
I'd say you
And
have.
the reason I say that is because I have a dozen short films. I can only watch one over and over again. My last one. This one, I've seen it so many times, but I can still watch it again and get caught up in it. And it's not, I didn't get 100% of my vision. In the beginning, it was 65%. And that bugged me for a long time until we decided to go film the end. And then we had to add some other visual effects to it. Then it came up to an 80%. And my last short film was an 85% for me. That one won like 56 awards.
It's
This one,
impressive.
we didn't send this from the festivals, but it's an 80% for me. So yeah, if I separated myself and I didn't make it, I would say it's a 4 out of 5 because I find it very engaging if I were to separate myself and just say this is like I didn't make it.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, as I said, the camera work was brilliant. Character arcs were very good. Um, the tension work between them was brilliant. Um, movie was shot well. What as it wasn't as a convoluted story that it needed, like that could easily have been put into it. It's a possession. It's this. It's that. Um, nice, easy going. It's a movie you could throw on, like, whatever. If you've seen it the first time, you could throw it on in the background and watch it again and again and again. Um, as it acting was good. For me, I'd be in and around the 3.5 mark. Um, which it isn't a knock on anything. Like I gave Nosferatu a 5.
Hmm.
I mean, I've given like there's not many that get 5s.
Hmm.
There's a lot of 4s. The 3.5 for me is better than average.
Hmm.
Um, I tell you what, I could probably push to a 4. Once I rewatch it
Hmm.
and see if it holds up in a rewatch. but really enjoyable. And I think it will go down a treat and will definitely be a success.
Mm. Great. Yeah, 3.5 is good. Yeah.
Not what you were expecting, or better than you were expecting.
No, like as part of me, if you would have asked me this before, yeah, it would have oscillated between 3.5 to 4 for me.
Huh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm right up with there. But recently we had the color correction finalized, and so to me, like I've seen the progression, right, to where
Yeah,
it was down in the dumps for me in terms of like I was like, oh my God, like oh geez.
yeah. As I said, you've obviously seen it come
Yeah,
from the
we
bottom to nothing
yeah,
to
exactly. So I've seen all this progression. So like I'm experiencing like a more of a height of things, you know. But yeah, 3.5 to 4, I think feels right for it as well. Yeah.
yeah. And as I said, it could get to a 4 once I rewatch it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and see, I might do is my missus doesn't she likes horror but doesn't really like horror. Um, so I might watch it with her and see what she thinks
Mm.
and go from there.
Yeah, and honestly, other people who have reviewed it, we've gotten like between out of a 10, right? There's been like 7 to 9s, and then out of 5 stars, there's been like between 3 to 4. That's where things have landed. Sometimes there's a 5 out of 5 for some people have said, but you know,
Like,
generally, yeah, it's been that 3 to 4 range
which
that
is
I've seen.
good. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If out of 5, um, has there been anything on Rotten Tomatoes for it?
Yeah, one on Rotten Tomatoes, and they gave us a 7 out of 10. That was Horror Buzz. And that's the only one that's reviewed on Rotten Tomatoes. We have Film Threat, but Chris Gore, who attended our LA premiere, I mean, he absolutely loved it, but he hasn't done a review yet. He invited me to go on a show on March 7th, so that's a good reminder. I have to go and you so yeah, so
You
but
know,
he absolutely loved it. We got him on camera talking about how much he loved it. So
nice, nice. And I know, I just said about going on shows. Obviously, I tuned in on Friday last week when you were on Fair Friday with Amber and August. Thought you were top drawer in there as well. I thought it was a really good interview.
oh,
Um,
you're live, huh?
yeah, I was checking it out. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay, great, great.
I was the one harassing everybody. Um, yeah, no, I said Amber's been on the show before. She's lovely. And she does a great Fair Friday. I love Fair Fridays.
Hmm.
I thought it was good. You actually done it on your own birthday, so that was the commitment to the cause.
Yeah.
Uh, committed.
Yeah. No, I love talking about, movies, horror movies. Yeah, so it's great. So enjoy.
Well, maybe if you're free at some stage, we'll bring you back and we'll actually do a show on just horror movies rather than focusing on just one.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But and I'll tell you what, then it's a question I ask everybody before we go. Throw me your top 5 horror movies.
Yeah. The Fly, The Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
God,
Exorcist,
God damn, he's just rolling these off here.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street's my number one horror film.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Obviously the 2010 remake that is now.
No, no,
Said
no, no.
no, said
The
no
original.
one ever.
It's gotta be the original.
Your brain had to compute that someone actually finished that sentence going.
Yeah,
That didn't register at all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And when I talk about The Thing, it's John Carpenter's The Thing, of course,
Yeah.
because there are three of them.
The single greatest remake of any genre ever. Doesn't matter, don't care. There's
Yeah,
no argument to it.
yeah.
The Fly is obviously the Jeff Goldblum one or the Vincent Price one.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah,
It's another top drawer remake.
yeah. Even Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that was a remake as well. And there's three
Wait,
of those movies too.
which one are you talking about now?
The one with Donald Sutherland.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's like, how do you?
yeah. I'd agree with you on that one.
Oh my God, the ending. Oh, that ending just. Oh,
Do you know what? I'll tell you what then, right? I was trying to line up. I didn't know who I wanted to do it with. I've asked a few people. Maybe we bring you back for a remake episode. And
Sure, sure,
we go through a couple of remakes. Obviously, you being a
sure.
director, you might have a different view on how things were done.
Yeah, give me some prep because I'll have to refresh some of the originals. I would watch the original and then the remake, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
like I wouldn't even be that. It'd be more just where we might fire out a movie, say Nightmare on Elm Street, and we know there's a remake, and we know the remake was absolutely tripe. Do you know what I mean? Like there's things like that. But I'm in the camp of there's a good few remakes that are terrible, but there are some that are better than the originals, and people just won't accept that.
it won't accept what exactly.
That like so say you take a cult classic
Uh-huh.
and it's remade, and the remake is better than the original. So say obviously the thing, no one seems to argue with that because that's just knowledge. But like for me, the Crazies, the 2010 Crazies is better than the original. Hills Have Eyes is better than the original.
Hmm.
And things like that. But I'm a big one on the '03 Texas Chainsaw being better than the original.
You're
I'm
saying the Michael Bay produced Texas Chainsaw is better than the original.
yep.
Oh, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I would disagree with you. I
I
would like
I I will
completely disagree with you.
I will die on that hill.
I like, yeah, that is not. I liked it when it first came out, but yeah, it
I
doesn't. To me, the rawness doesn't compare to the original. It's just not. It's
I
too
will die
produced.
on
It's too
that hill.
polished for me. Yeah,
I'll die on that hill.
that's interesting.
Like
Oh,
and people do think sometimes I'm messing about it. Like I'm deadly serious. Like everything about it, bar Andrew Berryovsky being Leatherface. Gunnar Hansen was obviously better, but everything about the '03 one is better. All the acting is better. Um, the the way it was shot was obviously different to the original one. Um, but yeah, I think everything about the '03 one is better, bar Leatherface himself.
interesting, interesting.
And Orly Emery absolutely steals the show. Steals
It
the
is
show.
tighter. Yeah, it's tighter, but there's something about the original that like it was so unexpected and
And I can
it's
tell
still like
you,
a documentary too to
I
me.
can tell you what it is about the original.
What?
It
What is
has
it?
that word, the original.
No, 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 no. It's not. To me, I don't. It doesn't matter if it was like this came first, that came. You know, like the thing, the third one. It's unwatchable to me. It's
See,
so much CGI that
I disagree with that one now. So
I cannot watch that one. Yeah.
I I went to see that in the cinema, right? And do you remember how that was marketed? As it was basically marketed as a remake. And I was sitting in the cinema for like 50 minutes of it. And I was getting so angry in the cinema watching it. I was like, this is awful. This is awful. And the person I went to see it was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, it's fucking stupid. Fucking trying to remake this, that, and the other. And then it gets to the scene when he puts the axe in the wall. And I was like, my God, it's a prequel. It took me that long to comprehend it. I got so angry and so wound up in the cinema. It took me that long to comprehend that it was a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel to the 2011. 2011 is a prequel to John Carpenter's one.
Okay, it doesn't seem like. Well, I guess I can't watch it. That's why. I never got there.
Did you not watch it?
I can't. I've tried watching it.
Oh, so
It's
you haven't seen the ending of it.
the CGI. I can't buy into it. And I know they filmed it originally with all prosthetics, and then they decided to swap it all out with CGI.
The ending of it has the dog running into space,
Hmm.
into thing, and then them going out in the helicopter to chase the dogs. You know the way the original one starts, or well, not the
Yeah,
original one.
I know, but it's just I just don't believe what I'm seeing, and that's the problem. But
It's fair. Yeah, no, I hated it, and then I found out it was a prequel. I was like, yes. But Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. As I said, we'll get you back on one day, and we'll go through whatever we want to go through, and it'll be a bit more of a free flowing conversation. Maybe the lads will be back; they're in work and whatnot at this stage. But they certainly have some viewpoints. Now they haven't seen this one yet. They haven't seen the Fetus yet because I won't. If someone sends me a screen, I don't tend to send them on without getting permission, and I forgot to ask. But yeah, we'd love to have you back on to have a chat about movies and stuff if you're up for it.
sure, yeah, be up for it.
Yeah. See if you can keep up.
Yeah.
But Joe, as I said, at the time of this coming out, will be close enough to your theoretical release. Best of luck with it. We hope everything goes well. Hope you make an absolute bomb too.
Yeah. And Greg, I have to thank you for, interviewing me and other filmmakers too, because independent films is takes a lot to market, and you supporting independent cinema in this way is huge, just get the word out. So really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. As it did, like this show didn't start for guests. This was just a film review show at one stage, and guests just kind of fell into hand, and we went from there. But yeah, I love indie horror. It's just fun. Unfortunately, we don't get a whole lot of it over here, so I do rely on nice directors sending me stuff to watch. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
And obviously we'll keep in touch, and I'll rewatch it at some stage in the next couple of weeks and let you know what I think.
Okay.
See if you get to that 4 spot.
All right.
But Joe, absolute pleasure.
Yeah, likewise.
But folks, what I'll do is I'll finish this the way I finish every single Friday night. In the words of the great George A. Romero, ladies and gentlemen, stay scared.